Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Come, yet again come. Come, come, whoever you are, wanderer, worshipper, lover of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of despair. Ours is no caravan of leaving. Ours is no caravan of despair. 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 Come, yet again come.
The focus for today is loving kindness. However, next Thursday is Earth Day. So the first half of this worship hour is going to be dedicated to the earth, and we will take up loving kindness during the second. To honor the earth, I'm going to tell a story I have told to you before. It is the story of the bird who sang the song of the forest. The story comes from an indigenous African people who call themselves the Ituri. There was a little boy who liked to go by himself into the forest. One day, he heard the most beautiful sound he had ever heard. It was the song of a bird that he could not identify. He returned to the place of the beautiful song every day for many days. One day, as he was sitting in reverie, intently listening, he saw a brightly colored bird that was singing the beautiful song. The little boy approached the bird. Surprisingly, the bird did not startle and fly away. It let him come very close, so close that the little boy was able to reach out and stroke the bird's beautiful plumage. When the boy touched the bird, he realized that this was indeed a very special bird. It was the bird that sings the song of the forest. The boy wanted everyone to hear the bird's beautiful song, so he took the bird home to his village, where it sang for everyone. But not everyone could hear the beautiful song. Unfortunately, some of the villagers, those that could not hear, were hungry, so they killed and ate the bird. When they killed the bird, they killed the song of the forest. When they killed the song of the forest, they killed themselves. This is where the Ituri story ends. I saw a rather disturbing statistic the other day. It appears that on an annual basis, 59% of the Earth's annual production is consumed by the top 10% of the world's richest people. Most of us gathered here today would probably fall into that category. We appear to be a big part of the problem. We are the ones with our 2 cars in every garage, 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath, 401k lifestyles that are killing the bird that sings the song of the forest. Here's my take on the story. The song of the forest still sings in us. It is but one movement in the eternal song of life. It really is who we are. Unfortunately, our spiritual ears have been stopped up by the glittering trinkets of our time, just as the villagers in the story were made deaf by their own hunger and greed. I saw a commercial on TV last night that showed an attractive young woman driving an SUV-type vehicle. She said, "You deserve to drive a car that thrills you." My response was, no, you don't. You don't deserve or really want to drive such a car. What you and I really want is to hear the sweet refrain of the song of the forest. The song is, as I said, in us. The song is us. The song is that which brought us into existence. We are happiest when we sing and dance to that song. We do not know how long the song has been singing, or even if there was ever a time before it began. It seems unlikely that there ever was a time when the song was not, or any place where it is not. In this now, you and I are the song. If we want to deal meaningfully with the current ecological crisis, we need to unstop our ears and start dancing to its tune. And now let's turn to our announcements. And I have one next week. Our pledge drive begins. So there's many people are involved in that endeavor. So that's coming up next week to look forward to. Are there other announcements that anyone would like to add to, or subtract from, or modify in any way?
Yes, I have an announcement. Very exciting. You ready?
Go ahead,
Yes.
Jane.
We are going to start the youth group next Saturday from 4 to 7 p.m. at Buff Outdoor Fun and Activities. So if you have a child from the ages of 10 to 18, please bring them along, drop them off. We'll feed them and have some silly nonsense going on.
Cool.
Yeah. So Saturday, was that the 24th?
Yes.
Yeah, very good. Thank you, Dean, for organizing that.
Yep.
I think if you have enough food, you're guaranteed to be a success in the teen department. So anyway, thank you for being willing to do that. Are there other announcements?
I have an announcement. I know everyone knows that Mother's Day is coming, and there's no better gift than these. So I have a lot of pot holders. They're all ready to go. If you want for Mother's Day, they're $20 a pair, and everything over cost goes to Buff. So I put in over, I think about between $200 and $300 so far. So I would say let me know soon so I can get it to you for Mother's Day.
Thank you for your diligence, Ellen. I can verify that her potholders are very nice, very luxurious potholders, and very attractive. So if you have a mom that likes to cook and you don't want her to burn her hands in the oven, that's what you should buy her for Mother's Day. Other announcements?
Harvey has a couple. Good morning.
Harvey, go ahead.
Good morning. More outdoor fun. Excuse me. On that same Saturday, next Saturday, the Green Sanctuary team, one of our environmental justice causes is to help Emma Kennard and her community gardens in Benton Harbor. Join if you willing to hang some chain link fence. I know that's on everybody's bucket list. Dick and I have been picking through and fixing some old fence that Emma got, and we've got like 300 feet of fence to hang. I know that sounds great. Anyway, you'll see it in the announce if you read the announce next Tuesday, 9 to 12 in the morning. Hang a little fence. We're looking for a couple people to help Dick and I. Dick and I are going to do it no matter what, but our backs could use it. More hands makes lighter work, right? Now Diane is going to be presenting at Buff next Saturday. And sorry, Diane, I didn't see your face. An ethical eating discussion, gathering, outdoors, socially distanced, totally safe. Again, next Saturday, 3 p.m. You'll see that in the announce as well. Prior to that, I'm going to come over to Buff and do some cleanup, green up, cleanup. Again, the same Saturday from like 1 to 3 around Buff. Clean out some gardens, some weeding. If you just want to come take a tour of the Buff grounds and have never been there, or if you have, I'll be glad to tour you around trails and gardens and all sorts of stuff. All right. See you next Saturday.
Yeah, thanks, Harvey. Thanks for leading that endeavor. It sounds like if you wanted to, you could spend all day hanging fence or at Buff. So,
I know, it's just unlimited.
Those opportunities don't come along every Saturday, friends. So this is the time to strike while the iron is hot. Other announcements.
I have one more announcement for Saturday. Neighbors Organizing Against Racism is setting up a demonstration for Black Lives Matter in Stevensville from 11 to 1. We'll be meeting at Full Circle, but there will be a formal invite coming on Tuesday. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. Thank you.
Cool.
Excellent. Thank you, Catherine. Catherine, our very able director of religious education, and her little dog. So thank you. Are there other announcements?
I have one.
Go ahead, Beth.
A week from Tuesday, we're going to be having sort of the final large group, anyone who wants to attend meeting for the 5-year planning. We're going to be talking about relooking at Buff's vision and mission statements. And going forward from that, we'll be sort of breaking up into smaller groups to actually start writing out the plan. So next Tuesday, not this coming Tuesday, but a week from Tuesday, which is the 27th at 7, one final large group. Anyone who wants to come, please come talk about Buff's vision and mission.
Excellent. Thank you, Beth. Beth is our president, our very competent and able president. But next week is a big week. If you like to hang fence and plan, you can get on both those activities. Are there other announcements?
Yeah, I have one. On Wednesday, April 21st, there is a workshop with Jane Elliott. She was the American diversity educator, and in the 60s did that blue eyes, brown eyes exercise with elementary kids. So it's a Zoom virtual thing organized by Neighbors Organizing Against Racism. And I just put the link to the Eventbrite page in the chat. But that's on Wednesday from 5 to 8.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Candace. I love your hat. Other announcements? If not, let's have a song by the very talented Les and Kristina.
Take all the metal and wood used in the waging of a war, and teach the men that make those weapons to build shelter for the poor. Take all the money we spend on the way that we appear, and find the ones that die of hunger and help them see another year. Before we fade away, let's make a better day. This world will keep on turning after we are gone, long gone. Was a forest I loved, where the air was fresh and clean. We took the forest for a factory, so we could build some more machines. When I was young, I learned to sing, and music blossomed in my soul. We took the music from the schools and left the darkest gaping holes. Where will our children be if they don't learn to sing? Millions of voices falling silent till they're gone. When we were young, world was new, but soon we found the child of fairy tales was never true. And how the story ends depends on you and me. Where will our children be if they don't learn to sing? Millions of voices falling silent till they're gone. Before we fade away, let's make a better day. This world will keep on turning after we are gone. After you are gone. After I am gone, long gone.
Thank you, Les and Kristina. And now Julie Williams will light our chalice.
Today, as we speak about kindness, I'd like to read a poem by Andy Razanoff. He was a noted African-American composer, poet, and lyricist of such well-known songs as Ain't Misbehavin' and Honeysuckle Rose. Brotherhood means being kind, thinking with an open mind, judging not by race or creeds, but by character and deeds. Brotherhood means decency, love of human dignity, always doing all you can to lift up your fellow man. Brotherhood means not to be slaves of hate and bigotry, but to wisely realize all are equal in God's eyes. The weak, the strong, the meek, the brave, the rich, the poor, the king, the slave, the wise, the fool, the good, the knave, are common clay bound for the grave. The truly great in their brief span are only those who work and plan to benefit the human race so they can look God in the face and hear him say, "Thy fruits were good, you scattered seeds of brotherhood."
Amen. Thank you. And now let us read our affirmation words together as they appear on your screen. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Let's move now to our virtual offering basket. And when the words appear on the screen, you can read along with me. This fellowship is the community of ourselves. Its resources are our resources. Its wealth is what we share. As we contribute to the life of this community, we affirm our lives within it. And thank you all for your generosity. And now our hymn, May I Be Filled with Loving Kindness by the Buff Musicians.
Jim, are we skipping the story for all ages?
Oh, you know what? I did. Let's do that because that's a really good story.
Yeah.
So let's hear it.
Hi, my name is Ms. Carlson, and I'm a counselor at Smyrna Middle School with 7th and 8th grade students. I've been teaching for 30 years. This year, I get to bring my dog Ruby to school. Ruby's a 1.5-year-old English Springer Spaniel, and she loves to come to school. We'll see if she can sit still with us for the book today. The book I'm going to read today is called Our House is on Fire by Jeanette Winter. It's about Greta Thunberg's call to save the planet. Greta is a quiet girl who led a quiet life in the city of Stockholm. Her dog Roxy was her friend. All my life I've been invisible. The invisible girl in the back who doesn't say anything. In school, she felt alone. Then one day, Greta's teacher talked to the class about the climate, about how our planet is getting warmer, about how the polar ice is melting, about how animals' lives are threatened, and ours too. That's when Greta's life changed. She read for hours and watched film after film about our warming world. Greta could think about one thing for a long, long time. She saw ice melting into the sea, disappearing. She saw mighty winds and torrential rains howling across the land. She saw coral reefs deep down in the sea, pale as ghosts, bleached by the warming waters. Greta saw living creatures everywhere struggling to stay alive. Greta saw floodwaters covering houses and people and animals. She saw cities swallowed under rising oceans. She saw the smoldering sun scorch the earth, leaving it bone dry. She saw blazing wildfires racing through the forests. Our house is on fire. Greta became sad, thinking about the climate all the time. She barely ate or spoke. Those pictures were stuck in my mind. The sad days went on for a long time, each day more unhappy than the next. There might not be a world to live in when she grows up. What use is school without a future? What can I do, she wondered. Greta decided to go on strike from school for the climate. Her parents understood. Greta skipped school one Friday and took her poster, School Strike for Climate, to the Parliament building to sit on strike. She hoped lawmakers would see her. People walked past, too busy to notice. Greta was invisible there, too. She was at the Parliament building every Friday, even in the rain. Then word of her strike began to spread. Little by little, other school strikers joined her. On Fridays, Stockholm schools were a bit empty. More people started noticing the child strikers, and word spread through cyberspace about the Friday school strikes. Children started striking everywhere. If grown-ups won't act to save the planet, children will. The quiet girl who always felt invisible was asked to speak to very important people at the United Nations climate talks in Poland. Greta only spoke when she thought it was necessary. You say you love your children above all else, and yet you are stealing their future in front of their very eyes. We need to keep the fossil fuels in the ground. The quiet girl was invited to speak to important people at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. It was necessary to speak. I don't want you to be hopeful. I want you to panic. I want you to feel the fear I feel every day. I want you to act as if the house was on fire, because it is. Greta's protest, all alone, sparked a worldwide children's march. Her quiet voice, joined by thousands of voices, became a roar. Can you hear us?
Denial is not a policy. Stop climate crime. Keep oil in the ground. It's our future.
Global warming is not healthy. Don't be a fossil fuel.
There's no planet B. You're destroying our future.
What will you do?
Very nice. Thank you, Catherine Lyons, for choosing that story. Very, very important story for us to hear. And now, our hymn, May I Be Filled with Loving Kindness, by the Buff Musicians.
May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be well. May I be peaceful and at ease. May I be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be well. May you be peaceful and at ease. May you be whole. May you be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be filled with loving kindness. May we be well. May we be peaceful and at ease. May we be whole.
Amen. And now Dennis Higdon and Lisa Quinlan will share their thoughts on loving kindness. Dennis first.
Good morning. I was asked to talk about loving kindness. I'm not naturally a loving, kind person. As a young man, I was very angry and competitive, jealous and fearful. In my 30s, I discovered meditation and began to learn to relax. I met a Buddhist who taught me a mantra, Nam-myo Renge-kyo, which is a Buddhist chant, which means I'm devoted to the sacred truths of Buddhism, Nam-myo Renge-kyo. You probably heard it before. I've used a lot in meditation. I think we all respect the Buddhist faith, and we greatly respect the Dalai Lama. It's done a lot of good. I learned patience and kindness from my children mainly, and I had to lower my expectation and raise my appreciation for simpler things. In Buddhism, loving kindness is a mental state or an attitude, cultivated and maintained by practice. So it's a path we follow. No, you never arrive at loving kindness. You constantly seek it, constantly approach it. It's a strong wish for the welfare and happiness of others. It's called metta. True metta is devoid of self-interest. So I'm not doing this. Well, I started off doing this to help myself, but that shouldn't be my intention. My intention should be to do it because it's the right thing to do. It evokes fellowship, sympathy, love. It overcomes all barriers. The Dalai Lama said, our brain and our heart is our temple. The philosophy is kindness. There's a metta meditation, which I like quite a bit. And you might want to try this. There's a number of varieties on the internet. They're all free, of course. And the way it goes is, may I be safe? May I be calm? May I be healthy? May I be peaceful? Then you say, may you be safe. May you be calm. May you be healthy. May you be peaceful. And they recommend that when you think about the others among us, think about people that you may not like, because those are the ones that you need to offer those gifts to. Metta is one of the great four immeasurables in Buddhism. The other three are compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity. Metta is a benevolence towards all beings that is free of selfish attachment. By practicing it, a Buddhist overcomes anger, ill will, hatred, and aversion. There is a Metta Sutta. Metta is, of course, the loving kindness. Sutta is a Buddhist word for law. So this is the loving kindness law. This is one translation that I saw. This is what should be done by one who is skilled in goodness and who knows the path of peace. Let them be able and upright, straightforward and gentle in speech, humble and not conceited, contented and easily satisfied, unburdened with duties and frugal in their ways. If you wish to learn more about Buddhism, we're very fortunate in St. Joe because we have our very own Buddhist Sangha. Sangha is another word for meeting. We have a Buddhist group. You probably heard of Kunga Niyama. He's spoke at Buff many times. I've attended a number of his meetings. They used to be held at the public library in St. Joe, but with the pandemic going on, there are no live meetings right now. However, there is a website and there is a YouTube, not YouTube, there's a Facebook account for this group, the Buddhist Sangha for St. Joe. And they do meet on a Zoom meeting. Unfortunately, it's 10 a.m. Sundays, but Kunga has indicated there will be live meetings coming up. And I do recommend them. They're a lot of fun. We meditate, we get readings from the Buddhist sacred text, and we have discussions. So if you would like to try that, it's another wonderful resource available to you, and it's all free, of course. So thank you for giving me this opportunity. Kunga's a good friend of Buff. I urge you to attend the Sangha and to meditate whenever you get a chance. Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. Thank you for a very lovely presentation. Lisa Quinlan.
Hi, this is my video on loving and kindness. This is gonna sound kind of weird, but way back when I was doing a second degree after I was done my art education degree, I was going into the paralegal field or attempting to. And I actually took this class that was referred to as the love class when I was going to a community college in Kalamazoo, Michigan. And it was called the love class. And I went to it in 1993. And what was interesting about that class is it did teach me a lot about today's topic, loving and kindness. They had us read this book called The Secret of Staying in Love. Now, while it has some concentration on the romantic aspect of life, it also is to be applied to just love in general, like love of your fellow man and kindness and things like that. But it was called The Secret of Staying in Love. It was written by John Powell. He was very popular way back in the early 90s, and he had a lot of interesting things to say about love. I actually credit this class with actually helping me in terms of falling in love, which I did only 6 months after I took the class. So that was one positive of taking this class. It was an elective. But they explored love in many different ways and what is real love. I'm going to read a few quotes from this book. And here's the one that is about conditional love versus unconditional love. As you see here, this person is saying here, I have to be perfect. I am loved for me. One thing John Powell goes into in the book is he talks about like how in the way people are raised, this can affect your feelings of stability and kindness in life. If someone has the kind of love where they feel like they're loved for who they are or just being a worthy person in themselves, that's a lot stronger position to come from than the position of being in the place where you feel you have to earn all your love or you're only loved for what you do or if you succeed. Some of us ended up in the situation where we had more of the latter, where, you know, you had to basically perform. And here's a quote that goes with that. To be loved because of one's merit, because one deserves it, always leaves doubt. Maybe I did not please the person whom I want to love me. Maybe this or that. There is always a fear that love could disappear. Furthermore, deserved love easily leaves a bitter feeling that one is not loved for themselves, that one is loved only because one pleases, that one is, in the last analysis, not loved at all, but just used. So I thought it was kind of interesting in terms of, you know, you think about the you first principle that tells people, you know, everyone has dignity and worth in themselves. That's something, you know, that's something our society needs, where you focus on loving people just being who they are. Okay, and here's one thing with the society in terms of love and kindness. You know, there's a lot of messages out there where you're just told, be tough, compete and win. I drew a little cartoon for this too. Win at all costs, dog eat dog society. Don't be a wimp. You're too sensitive. And here's the person thinking, oh, I better harden up and get tough. And that's one thing we deal with in a lot of American society. And I've talked about this topic a little before, where I've talked about with there's less cooperation and more competition. And that doesn't have to set up a loving environment where the winners want to be all on the top and knock the losers off the mountain. That does not bring loving feelings, and maybe it's something the society should be focusing on in terms of changing things and focusing more on cooperation and things like that. Another important aspect of love is self-love, which most, you know, some people ignore the fact, but you do have to have self-love to be able to give love. So here's a picture goes with that. And I'll read a quote from this book about self-love. To understand what it means to love oneself, let us ask what it means to love one another. In the following chapter, I would like to investigate the deeper meanings and implications of love. For now, let us say that love does at least these three things. Love esteems and affirms the unconditional and unique value of the love. Love acknowledges and tries to fulfill the needs of the one loved. Love forgives and then forgets the failings of the one loved. When we are asked to love our neighbors as ourselves, the clear implication is that whatever we would do for our neighbor, we would also and first do for ourselves. In other words, it's a package deal. You have two people you must love, yourself and your neighbor. You can't really love one without loving the other. And that's true. That's something we need to develop in society, is self-love, you know, being able to share each other with one person. One thing that can affect love, I always thought, and kindness for other people, is the whole competition between authenticity and repression. People who feel that they can be themselves and where they can be accepted do a lot better in being able to show love and kindness. The person's here saying they better not find out who I really am. And if you think about it, where are the places that you feel the most acceptance and where you feel the most kindness? It's a place where you feel like you're not judged, where you are accepted and loved for being who you are. And authenticity is a place where people can reach out to each other and you know, be able to have more loving and more kindness and more real relationships. If you're all busy wearing masks, then you're not going to be able to have like a real and authentic relationship. In fact, one problem people can get into is where they wear masks and they're more focused on appearances. And that's where you get the people who have all the competition, and then you think, oh, I can't be kind to others. You're competing more with them and thinking, I always have to be on top. So that works against it. And here's another definition of love from the book. Love is a high inducement to the individual to ripen, to become something in himself, to become world to himself for another's sake. It is a great and exorbitant demand upon him, something that chooses him out and calls him to vast things. Love consists in this, that two solitudes protect and touch and greet each other. I thought that was a nice definition about love. And one thing I was left with this class too is, love isn't just all fuzzy wuzzy feelings. Even if we're talking and going out into society and being loving and kind to people, just telling people to just go out and be nice, be kind, and it's just not being all fake, fuzzy wuzzy and smiles like that. It's based on decision. And one thing this class focused on was saying that love is a decision. And I made a poster to go with that. And I always thought this was an important quote in this book, and I'll finish up with it here. When the satisfaction, security, and development of another person becomes as significant to you as your own satisfaction, security, and development, love exists. Okay, then that's it for today. Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa Quinlan. Very nice. Actually, I met Father John Powell once, the author of your textbook. I was walking in Evanston, Illinois, and he was jogging towards me. And I said, "You're Father John Powell." And he said, "Yes, I am." And he kept jogging. So at any rate, that was a little excitement for me. Thank you, Lisa, for that very lovely sharing, and also for you, Dennis. And now our meditation music from Candace Unwell, our meditation 2. Wow, thank you for that very beautiful music and visuals. I don't know who put the visuals together for that, but it was very nice. The title of my sermonette, and it is a sermonette, it's quite short, Stopping the Poisonous Drip of Judgment. In this sermonette, I'm going to discuss one way of becoming a more kind and loving person. One of the most important things that Jesus said was, "Judge not, lest you also be judged." It seems likely that Jesus thought that some of what you and I might call inner dialogue, he thought of as conversation with God. He and I am guessing here noticed that judging other people harshly had an immediate toxic internal kickback. The harsh judging of another is like dripping a drop of spiritual poison into your psyche and into your relationship with others. We see this poisoning by judgment going on all around us. The virulent political division in this country, the spate of very young men involved in mass shootings, and in the politicalization of the COVID pandemic are pretty much the result of the toxic drip of judgment excreted by several 100 million psyches. I have some good news. There's a simple technique, which I will share with you today, that you can use to stop the poisonous drip. When you find yourself judging in internal or external dialogue, replace your you are statement with an I feel statement. And let me repeat that. Replace your you are statement with an I feel statement. Let me give an example. A couple of days ago, I was at Menards buying some supplies for a backyard patio project. In the fastener aisle, I happened upon a person I have been friendly with over the years and who I know spends a great deal of time and energy working in our community to make it a better, more humane place. He is, in my opinion, a good guy. I casually asked him if he had gotten his COVID vaccinations. He replied, "I'm not getting any shots. I don't trust the government, and besides, I'm quite healthy, so even if I do get COVID, I probably won't die." My internal judgment response was immediate. I thought, but did not say, "You are an idiot. Don't you realize that not getting vaccinated only gives the virus more opportunity to mutate and become more dangerous for everyone? I can't believe that you are so selfish and uncaring for others and the well-being of our society." That is a you are statement that, had I verbalized, would have surely had a poisonous effect on our relationship and also on my own spiritual well-being. So I changed my initial toxic statement, a judgment rather, into an I feel statement, which could be verbalized. I said, "Bob," which is not his real name, "I feel a bit frightened when I hear that you are refusing to be vaccinated. Yes, you probably would survive an infection. However, in my understanding of how COVID works, your body, while it is fighting off the disease, would provide the virus with an opportunity to infect others and also for the virus to mutate. If that is the case, this could result in our current vaccines becoming less effective and the deaths of people who, unlike you, are not so healthy." Bob and I went on to have a productive and amiable conversation on a variety of topics, including the COVID vaccine. I want to emphasize again, had I left my judgment sit in me as a you are statement, "Bob, you are an uncaring idiot," it would have had a poisonous effect on me and on my feelings towards Bob. I would have contributed more poison to an already toxic situation. When I use I feel statements, when you use I feel statements, no one can really disagree with you because what you are feeling is the truth for you. Your feelings are what makes your statement and you authentic. When you use I feel statements and you stop the poison drip, the world becomes a little less toxic and you become a little more mature and helpful to the common good. With less poison in the system, it is easier to practice loving kindness. By way of an ending footnote, avoid disguising your you are statements as I feel statements. The statement, "Bob, I feel you're an idiot," is just a poisonous judgment dressed up as authenticity. And Julie, if you would extinguish our chalice. Julie, you might be on mute. You are, we hear you.
As we extinguish this chalice, let us remember to go and scatter seeds of kindness and to be kind to the earth, its flora and fauna, and especially to those animals that provide food.
Amen. Thank you, Julie. And now our musical benediction, Go in Peace, by Candace Almuller.